You've been pouring bag after bag of fertilizer onto your garden for years, and yet you still worry, is the soil getting tired? Are you dependent on big ag inputs? What if I told you a Korean natural farming method can help your soil generate its own fertility and reduce or eliminate your need for synthetic or commercial fertilizer forever? This trick works not by forcing nutrients into the soil, but by awakening the soil's own team of microbes, fungi, earthworms, and decomposers, so that the life beneath your feet feeds your plants. Stick with me. This is real, practical, and you can try it in your garden this weekend. At the heart of this trick is Korean natural farming, or KNF, a system developed to harness indigenous microorganisms, or IMOs, and cultivate closed-loop fertility in your garden. Unlike conventional fertilization, which dumps nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in chemical form and risks disrupting soil life, KNF works with what's already in your environment. It gathers beneficial microbes, multiplies them, then returns them to the soil, where they break down organic matter, solubilize nutrients locked in minerals, and accelerate plant uptake. One of the core practices is to recruit native microbes from your yard or nearby forest, multiply them, and use them as a living inoculant. You begin by placing cooked or steamed rice, or another carbohydrate medium, in a breathable container in a shady but moist spot under leaf litter. Over 4 to 5 days, beneficial bacteria, fungi, actinomycetes, and others colonize the medium. You'll see white fuzz, which is microbial growth, as a good sign. That's your IMO 1 stage. From there, you proceed through stages: IMO 2, IMO 3, and IMO 4. Each time mixing with rice bran, local soil, or other resources to scale up that microbial population. In the end, you broadcast this microbe-rich medium across your beds, cover it with a thin layer of mulch, and allow those microbes to spread and establish. Because the soil now teems with beneficial microorganisms, organic matter breaks down faster. Nutrients are released on demand, pH buffers itself, and earthworms thrive. Worms are attracted to that rich, biologically active soil, and their tunneling further improves aeration and microbial access. Over time, the garden becomes a living, self-sustaining fertility factory. First, choose your site for recruitment. Find a shady area near trees, under leaf litter or mulch. Sterilize or wash your cooking vessel, cook some plain rice or steamed white rice. Let it cool, then spread about an inch of cooked rice in a small box or wooden container. Cover lightly with perforated plastic wrap or cloth to keep insects out, but allow airflow. Leave it under litter for 4 to 5 days. That gives your IMO 1. Next, mix that IMO 1 with rice bran at a ratio of 1:1 by volume. Add enough moisture to get a damp but not soggy mix. This becomes IMO 2. Let that ferment for a few days, turning occasionally to keep oxygen flowing. Then move to a shallow trench in your garden bed. Mix IMO 2 with local fertile soil in equal parts to get IMO 3, distribute it in the trench, and cover with mulch. After several days, you get IMO 4, essentially the finished inoculum. Broadcast that on your garden surface, cover lightly, and encourage it to colonize. In parallel, you can make fermented plant extracts, or FPJ, by taking vigorous plants like comfrey, nettle, or even weeds, chopping them up, and mixing with equal parts brown sugar by volume. Let that ferment for about 1 week, then strain and dilute it, roughly 1 to 500, before applying as a soil drench or a foliar spray. This gives your plants a nutrient and microbe boost. Pair that with IMO inoculation and you're gradually replacing commercial fertilizer. One gardener I know used this across a 100 square meter vegetable plot. In the first year, they reduced synthetic fertilizer use by half plus frequent foliar sprays of FPJ and IMO. By the second year, the yield matched the conventional side with no synthetic input at all. I've tried this in my own raised beds. Within just a few months, I saw better soil texture, more earthworms, and much less need for bagged nitrogen and phosphorus. Don't rush the stages. If you try to scale up too quickly or skip stages, your microbial cultures may fail or be overwhelmed by unwanted organisms. Always use sterilized equipment, filtered or non-chlorinated water. Rainwater or dechlorinated water is ideal. And avoid synthetic chemicals in the area when you're doing the inoculations. When broadcasting your IMO4 inoculum, do it just before a rain or irrigate gently afterwards so the microbes can really penetrate. Keep the topsoil moist for a few days so colonization can take hold. Also, avoid disturbing the upper layers. No heavy tilling over freshly inoculated zones. One more tip. Biochar or charcoal dust makes an excellent microbial habitat. Mix a small percentage, say 5 to 10%, of charcoal with your IMO mix. The porous structure holds moisture, gives microbes shelter, and improves their longevity in the soil. Don't expect overnight miracles. It can take seasons for the system to mature, especially in soils that have been heavily fertilized or chemically treated. But once the microbial community becomes stable and strong, the soil more or less feeds itself. If every gardener awakened their soil's microbial power and abandoned synthetic fertilizer, the massive fertilizer industry would lose a huge amount of demand. This system doesn't require large factories, chemical distribution networks, or ongoing purchases of NPK bags. Instead, it depends on local materials, microbial life, and ecological balance. The shift reduces dependence on external inputs and empowers local gardeners. That's why this method has remained under the radar for many. It threatens upstream suppliers more than it benefits them. So, let's wrap up. This Korean backyard trick, recruiting indigenous microbes, fermenting plant extracts, broadcasting living inoculum, it isn't magic. It's soil biology. It's restoring life beneath your feet and letting that life feed your garden. Just follow the stages, use clean methods, be patient, and over time, your need for packaged fertilizer will simply fade away. If you found this guide helpful, please hit subscribe, ring that notification bell, and share this video with your gardener friends. Let's build a community that gardens with life, not with empty bags.